to start looking at how they want to be and actually truly changing their behaviors. And that's the really deep work that not many people want to do. Hey, welcome back to Uncivilized Rebirth. Today I want to talk about identity and healing. And what does that mean? Now, we have to look at healing as in it's not just us that needs to get healed. It is other people that need to go through healing. And a lot of this is changing behaviors and the way we communicate with other humans and not going off old programming that is unhealthy. Because when we get wounded by people and we're around people that are very unhealthy, we actually take on those mannerisms and those characteristics that they have. And then we pass that on to others in our immediate vicinity that we interact with. So it's like a poison that spreads and it just keeps going and going. And so not only do we have to look at ourselves from the healing aspect, we have to look at how we look at other people. So we're going to get into some stuff that's really difficult because it takes self analysis and then moving yourself into the perspective of you're unwounded. So, what I want to talk about in this particular case to help get the point across of healing in the way we look at people. Let's say we have somebody that has wronged us many times in secret, and we know what they've done, we know who they are, but there's no way to prove it. So every time you see that person, you get triggered. You get triggered. Okay. Well, you take a step back and realize, oh, they're never going to admit it. They've been so secretive, they won't get in trouble. But for me and my own health, I must move forwards with my own healing and get past this. Otherwise, I will get stuck in a new loop or a new cycle and keep repeating it. But I want to be free of those cycles. So I go in, do the work on myself, do the work in those memories, and I free myself from being wounded by this person. Cool. I've done the work. I'm getting healed, and I'm saying I am healed from it. I'm good to go. If I am truly healed, then I want other people to heal. So that means when I look at other people or that person, if I continue looking at them from the perspective of shame, blame, and judgment, then they are going to see that, receive that, and that'll put them back in the identity of the guilty one and the transgressor. And then they will immediately go into their defensive mode where they got to defend themselves and they got to be boisterous, whatever they have to do to make themselves maybe look not guilty, but it's the way they're acting is just outrageous. But they have been put back into that identity of being guilty. And now they're going to start, their subconscious will just feed this. It will go back to the memories that are validated. I need a bandana. Through people that treated them that way that reinforce that identity. And now this current memory of them seeing you, looking at them with that judgmental gaze, it's an energy too that can be felt at a deep level. Then it's going to be classified with those other memories that reinforce that identity. But if we are truly healed, then we want healing from others. And what that is organizing the mind, being free of identity, and letting your soul present in the world and leading through love. Well, so how do we look at that person? and just be like, I'm going to look at your soul, and I'm going to look past the memories that I have of you and the old identity I have of you, and I'm going to look at you as a soul without any of that baggage. What this will do, they will see that and they will receive it. They will receive it, but most of the times, they won't know how to receive it. It'll feel strange, it'll feel awkward, and they won't get any validation anymore because they're so used to what's comfortable, and that's the validation from you of their transgression and of that identity of being guilty. It'll probably free them up to act out. They'll probably do something to try to get that validation of what they're used to validate that identity. But when they no longer receive it, there's actually a freedom you give them. They don't have to identify as that when they see you anymore. And when they do that, that gives them this wiggle room to look at themselves and to analyze themselves because they're no longer being defensive. There's just this, oh, I can be. Well, when you're being, you can just observe versus trying to be something, you know? So then that the hopes of that is that they'll take a step back and they will look internally and be able to analyze themselves, and that you can be a fulcrum for them to start on their healing journey. I'm going to look at the time. Good. To start them on their healing journey. And hey, is this going to be the very thing that starts them and gets them healed? Maybe, maybe not. But it could be that little seed that gets planted and it starts growing and growing. And it's that only place that gives them space to start looking at how they want to be and actually truly changing their behaviors. And that's the really deep work that not many people want to do. But it's hard to move into that space when you're being treated very poorly and less than. And and it can seem like, oh, this is really good reason they deserve this. Well, you know, if you want to help people, you have to move past the they deserve this, I got to get back at them. Because as a parent, looking at their kids fight, go back and forth, they did this, I'm going to do it back, then I'm going to do it back. And then the parent steps in and puts a stop to it. Well, those emotions are still building up inside each other. But when you can talk about those emotions and identify those emotions instead of just stopping the behavior, everything kind of settles down more. So that's where we're at. It's like, I'm just going to do something back, or I'm going to make sure I get back at them. Adults do it, but adults are very subversive in it. They're very oh man, devious, especially older. I've seen older males that are like really old. They've been doing this for 6, 7, 8 decades, and they've gotten really good at it on getting back at people. But that's the poison also, just like going back and forth, back and forth. But when you go in and you do that work on yourself, validate yourself, identify what's going on, then that frees you up for trying to get back at them and get back, And and I share that because I've been going through something and I just went through a phase where I finally was able to free up from that and make a choice in that. Like, you know what? I'm going to view this person as a little child before they were wounded. Because for somebody to get this messed up, they had to have had some terrible things happen to them. So when I view it like that, it's like unwrapping the layers of all this bravado of like, here's the hurt. It's like that hurt little boy that wants to look tough and be the the big dog, by going around hurting other people. Like, no, that's not cool. But I bet you were once a little kid that was awesome and fun. And I bet you'd like to feel that freedom again and feel how people would look at you and be nice to you, before you get changed by the world. The world's a brutal place, but that can be changed. And I am working on doing my part. Basically, the world needs reverse cancer. That's a good that's spread into the world that's insidious, that people do not, and insidious in a good way, where it's like gets in and just grows and grows and grows. Because reverse cancer would go in and spread, and people want that. It's like, oh my goodness. But it's just that threshold of deciding, am I going to do the work? Am I going to go in and really, really do the deep work? I'm done. Roadhouse, spiritual hard. Click, click.